What if the greatest strength you could build is not the strength to be seen, but the strength to keep learning when no one is watching? What if your most important work is not the work that earns applause, but the work that shapes how you see the world? We live in a time that rewards speed, quick answers, quick reactions, quick success. But there is another way to live, a slower way, deeper way, a way built on attention, curiosity, discipline, and quiet endurance. There once lived a mind in history that refused to live on the surface of things. A person who looked at water and did not just see a river, but movement. Who looked at a face and did not just see features, but emotion. Who looked at machines and did not just see parts, but possibility. This person was not driven by applause, not guided by trends, not hurried by comparison. What guided him was wonder, a steady, disciplined wonder. And that is where we begin. You and I are capable of more than we think, but not because we are loud, not because we chase recognition, not because we prove ourselves over and over. We are capable of more because we can choose to think deeply, to observe carefully, to practice patiently, to become disciplined in our inner life. Inner discipline is not glamorous. It does not trend. It does not often get rewarded quickly, but it is the foundation of everything lasting. To govern the self before seeking influence, to regulate emotion before reacting, to observe before speaking, to question before judging. This is strength. There is a kind of power in being able to sit with a question without rushing to answer it, to admit you do not know, to stay curious instead of defensive, to say, I will study this, I will understand this, I will grow. When we are young, we often measure ourselves by achievement, by grades, by titles, by followers, by income. But as we mature, we begin to see that these measures are unstable. They shift, they rise and fall. If our identity rests on them, we will always feel threatened. Quiet strength is rooted in dignity, in inherent worth, in the understanding that you matter not because of what you produce, but because you exist, because you are human, because you carry within you the ability to think, create, care, and choose. When your worth is grounded in dignity rather than performance, you do not panic when you are unseen. You do not collapse when others are praised. You do not rush to prove yourself in every conversation. Instead, you work, you study, you practice, you refine. You allow your life to become a workshop. Think about that image for a moment. Your life as a workshop, not a stage, not a competition, a workshop. In a workshop, things are built slowly. Mistakes are expected. Tools are sharpened. Materials are tested. Designs are sketched and revised. Nothing is wasted. Even failure becomes instruction. This is how inner strength is formed. Not in dramatic moments, but in daily repetition. You wake up. You choose integrity again. You choose patience again. You choose focus again. No one applauds. No one posts about it. But something is happening beneath the surface. Character is being shaped. Vision is being clarified. Depth is being formed. And depth cannot be rushed. We often feel pressure. Pressure to decide quickly. Pressure to succeed early. Pressure to match the pace of others. But purpose rarely moves at the speed of pressure. Purpose moves at the speed of formation. When urgency tries to rush you, Ask yourself, am I being faithful or am I being frantic? Frantic energy is loud. It feels productive. It feels impressive. But often, it is scattered. It chases attention. It burns out. Faithful energy is quieter. It returns to the work. It keeps learning. It stays committed when boredom sets in. And boredom will come. There is a myth that meaningful work always feels exciting. It does not. Real growth includes repetition, practice, revision, waiting. To endure boredom without quitting is a form of strength. To continue refining your craft when no one notices is a form of strength. To keep asking questions long after others have moved on is a form of strength. Motivation grounded in hype fades quickly. It rises fast and disappears just as fast. But motivation grounded in values endures. When you know why you are learning, why you are building, why you are practicing, you can survive delay. You can survive obscurity. You can survive misunderstanding. There was once a person who filled notebooks with observations. Page after page, sketch after sketch, studies of movement, studies of nature, studies of anatomy, not for applause, not for instant fame, but because he believed that to understand the world was to honor it. He believed that attention was a form of respect. When you pay attention, you slow down. When you slow down, you see. When you see clearly, you act wisely. This is leadership before influence. Leadership begins in self-governance. Can you manage your thoughts when criticism comes? Can you steady your emotions when plans change? Can you remain teachable when you feel confident? Can you admit error without collapsing into shame? This is the work, the inner work. Before you ever guide others, you must guide yourself. Before you influence a room, you must learn to influence your own impulses. It is easy to blame circumstances, to blame systems, to blame other people's expectations. But the person who becomes steady understands that while we cannot control everything around us, we can learn to govern what is within us. Your reactions, your focus, your discipline, your curiosity. These are within your reach. Perseverance is often misunderstood. We think it means pushing through without feeling, forcing outcomes, winning at all costs. But true perseverance is refinement. Obstacles are not interruptions. They are tools. Delay teaches patience. Criticism teaches humility. Failure teaches adjustment. Opposition teaches resilience. When you face resistance, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What is this shaping in me?" This shift changes everything. It transforms hardship from an enemy into a teacher. It allows you to stay grounded when progress slows, because your goal is not simply to achieve, it is to become. Becoming is deeper than achieving. Achievement can be measured quickly. Becoming unfolds slowly. You can achieve and still be shallow. You can achieve and still be insecure. You can achieve and still be driven by fear. But when you focus on becoming, you build substance. You develop clarity. You cultivate steadiness. You learn to think in layers. Surface thinking reacts. Deep thinking reflects. Surface thinking chases trends. Deep thinking seeks truth. Surface thinking copies. Deep thinking studies. When you cultivate the discipline of wonder, you give yourself permission to explore without immediate reward. You study because it matters. You create because it expresses something honest. You refine because excellence honors the gift you carry. There is quiet dignity in this approach. You do not need to announce your strength. You do not need to convince others of your worth. Your work speaks in time. And if recognition never comes, you are still formed. You are still refined. You are still deeper than before. This is faithfulness over outcomes. In a world that measures success by visibility, this mindset feels radical, but it is freeing. You are responsible for your integrity, not for everyone's approval. You are responsible for your effort, not for immediate results. You are responsible for your character, not for your reputation. Reputation is what others think of you. Character is who you are when no one is watching. Character sustains you when applause fades. Imagine living in such a way that your peace does not rise and fall with attention. Imagine building skill quietly, steadily, without the need to broadcast every step. Imagine asking deeper questions instead of offering quick opinions. This is not withdrawal from the world. It is engagement at a higher level. When you observe carefully, you see connections others miss. When you think deeply, you solve problems others overlook. When you practice patiently, you produce work that lasts. But this requires humility. To say, "I do not know yet," to accept that mastery takes years. To understand that growth is not linear. There were years in history when certain brilliant minds worked without widespread recognition. Years of study, years of incomplete projects, years of exploration that seemed scattered. But what looked scattered was actually layered curiosity. Sometimes your path will not look straightforward. It may seem like you are learning unrelated skills, exploring different interests, asking different questions. Do not rush to label that as confusion. It may be integration. It may be your mind gathering threads that will later weave together. Purpose does not always reveal itself in a straight line. Sometimes it emerges through exploration, but exploration requires discipline. Curiosity without discipline becomes distraction. Discipline without curiosity becomes rigid. You need both. The discipline to return to your work, and the curiosity to ask new questions. The discipline to practice, and the curiosity to improve. The discipline to endure boredom, and the curiosity to look deeper. This balance creates sustainable motivation. You are not chasing emotion. You are building conviction. Conviction survives delay. Conviction survives obscurity. Conviction survives criticism. There will be seasons when your efforts seem invisible, when others move ahead quickly, when comparison whispers that you are behind. In those moments, return to your workshop. Return to your notes. Return to your practice. Ask yourself, who am I becoming? Are you becoming more patient, more attentive, more thoughtful, more disciplined? If the answer is yes, then you are not behind. You are being formed. Hope without illusion means you believe in growth without pretending it is easy. You expect progress without denying difficulty. You remain steady without demanding guarantees. You accept that some projects will remain unfinished. You accept that some dreams will evolve. You accept that understanding deepens slowly. But you do not give up, because your hope is not built on instant success. It is built on steady refinement. You are not in a race against the world. You are in a lifelong process of becoming. And that process is sacred. There is something powerful about a person who carries quiet strength, who listens more than they speak, who studies more than they argue, who builds more than they boast. That kind of person becomes a stabilizing presence. Others feel safe around them. Others trust their judgment. Others respect their depth, not because they demand it, but because it is evident. You do not need to chase influence when you cultivate integrity. Influence follows depth. Recognition follows substance. But even if it does not, you remain grounded, because your life is not a performance. It is a practice, and every day offers another chance to practice, to observe, to refine, to think, to choose patience over panic, to choose curiosity over cynicism, to choose integrity over impulse. You do not need to know everything today. You do not need to accomplish everything this year. You need to return to your workshop. You need to sharpen your tools. You need to remain teachable. There is quiet beauty in that. A life shaped by attention becomes a life of meaning. A mind trained in depth becomes a mind capable of vision. A heart grounded in dignity becomes a heart capable of steady love. This is not dramatic work. It is daily work. And daily work builds extraordinary lives. As you move forward, resist the temptation to rush your becoming. Resist the pressure to measure yourself only by visible outcomes. Resist the fear that you are unseen. Instead, cultivate the discipline of wonder. Look closely at the world around you. Ask thoughtful questions. Study what matters. Practice your craft. Refine your character. Govern your emotions. Choose faithfulness. In time, you will look back and realize that what seemed like slow progress was actually deep formation. That what felt like delay was preparation. That what appeared invisible was shaping you into someone capable of real impact. And even if the world never fully understands your path, you will know. You will know that you built something solid. You will know that you became someone steady. You will know that you chose depth over noise. So today, return to your workshop. Pick up your tools. Open your notebook. Look at the world with fresh eyes. Let curiosity guide you and discipline sustain you. Let dignity anchor you and purpose direct you. Move forward quietly. Move forward steadily. Move forward with hope that is honest and resilient. Because the strongest lives are not built in flashes of applause. They are built in quiet rooms through patient practice, guided by steady wonder. And that kind of strength endures.